time zone. I'm on Central Time here, so it is it's 10:25, almost 10:30 Central Time here, and this is DeeJay here to cast the Watford versus Southampton game in the English Premier League. Once again, for those who are new to the channel, haven't seen me before, I'm a aspiring broadcaster. I'd like to work in either esports or Major League Soccer as a broadcaster, and so I started my Twitch channel to do broadcasts, show people that I know the games, I know what I'm talking about, and create a cache of videos and have some fun doing it along the way. I really enjoy broadcasting. I don't necessarily think I'm better than professional broadcasters, but I'd like to get to that point, and so I'll be providing alternate commentary today for this match, my own commentary. I am a Manchester United fan, as you can see the shirt, but I will be as impartial as humanly possible during these broadcasts, and then during half times or breaks when the teams aren't on, happy to chat with you guys in a more this is my sort of opinion kind of way, but during the cast everything will be very professional. We'll be trying to emulate the way that productions work for the Premier League and for other leagues around the world. Once again, I have to have the background up to avoid infringing on the broadcasting rights of NBC. I recommend that if you're going to watch this channel along with me, please watch the game on one screen and overlay my commentary, or listen to my commentary on another screen or another device, so we can support NBC, who does, I think, a great job with these productions and has done so for the last couple of years since they bought the stream rights from Fox. Really do support them. I like their broadcasters a lot. So, that's the stream that I'll be using to watch the game and commentate on the side, but obviously cannot show that to you because that would be illegal as a suitable replacement. So we'll be casting here as the game starts. So please tune into that on another device and use my commentary if you enjoy it more or would like to listen to it. As we can see, thanks to my roommate, I got FootMob up today. For those of you who are on the last one, I wanted to use this, but decided to use some handmade, sort of simple lineup cards. These should update as time goes on and give some estimated match ratings from the website themselves. So please, if we'll say shout out to FootMob here. It's a free service to see lineup cards, see ratings, and see everything going on. Great website. We use them all the time. And it's worked out really, really nicely here, so you guys can see the faces of the players as we get ready to jump into game here. They're about to go for the kickoff here, and we'll see a moment of silence for the National Health Services in Britain and around the world fighting the COVID-19 crisis, as well as all the players probably taking a knee to support the Black Lives Matter movement going on in the United States and being supported around the world as we speak. Go through the lineups here. You can see Watford lining up in a 4-2-3-1 with Ben Foster in goal, Kiko on the right, Craig Cathcart, Craig Dawson in the central defense. Dawson had a absolutely fantastic bicycle kick strike against Leicester a couple of matches ago to get a draw there. Adam Messina at left back, Will Hughes and Etienne Capoue as the two holding midfielders, and then Ismail Assar, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Roberto Pereira as a sort of attacking midfield three, and then Troy Deeney will lead the line up top per usual. On the other side for Southampton, we've got Danny Ings, who's been on a great run of form recently, partnering Shane Long up top with a midfield four of Nathan Redmond, Oriol Romeu, William Smallbone, and James Ward-Prowse out on the right. Ryan Bertrand, Jan Bednarak, Yannick Vestergaard, and Kyle Walker-Peters make up the back four with Alex McCarthy in goal. Definitely looking here at Danny Ings, has been on a great run of form. I think scoring a lot of goals, providing a lot of pressure. I think Southampton have had decent play since the break resumed. Watford a little slower out of the gates, I would say, from their form beforehand. They were kind of flying a little bit beforehand. They were on a great run of form with Troy Deeney, Ismail Assar scoring a lot of goals. Memorable 3-0 win over champions now Liverpool earlier this season, but have looked a little rusty since coming back from the break, so we'll see if they can turn that around here. And now we finally have a view of the field here as we get ready to start. Do want to apologize in advance. My stream buffered a decent amount the last time I streamed this, so hopefully we won't have that be the case, but I will have the match on my phone as well, so should the stream drop while I am getting that fixed, players taking a knee here now, I will have that up so that we can continue commentary. And now the game started. Ball knocked back here to Cathcart and out wide to Roberto Pereira. Ball bounces around a little bit before being collected by Southampton and almost get a through ball to Nathan Redmond, but it's cleared away by Vestergaard. Here's a long ball across the field from Southampton, but headed away by Messina. Walker-Peters. And an early foul here by, looks like Will Hughes as he bites in a little eagerly. Oh, but he does read the actual ensuing free kick from James Ward-Prowse and picks it off. Ball bounce around here off the face of Danny Ings. Will fall to a Southampton player, and very chaotic start here. Both teams just kind of scrambling for possession, and finally a foul by Abdoulaye Doucouré on James Ward-Prowse will settle things down, but very sloppy start here as the teams try to sort of get warm up into this match. Finally a little bit of possession here as Vestergaard. And that long ball from Alex McCarthy will go harmlessly out of play. Apologize, we're going to fix this 1 second as we can't see the scoreboard. There we go, perfect. Alrighty. Ward-Prowse, his pass picked off by Sarr. Long ball up the field from Kiko. Will be spotted by Vestergaard. McCarthy to Bednarak. Bednarak back to Vestergaard. Long pass up the field, but it does deflect off of a Watford player for a Southampton throw-in. Now here's Vestergaard. Excuse me, Ryan Bertrand, sorry. See there the updating player ratings, so you can agree or disagree with the football player ratings. We can potentially talk about them at halftime and after the match as well, and kind of see what we think is a chat about those player ratings, but it's a nice feature that we like about, that me and my roommate like about the website. There's a long ball up the field from Bednarak. Will nicely find Shane Long, who almost takes a fantastic section. Sorry, I think that's William Smallbone, actually. Almost takes a wonderful touch, but just squeaks away from him a little bit. Allows Adam Messina to get in there and poke off. Messina will draw the foul from Smallbone. So Smallbone definitely a new addition to the Southampton midfield. We typically see one of a couple of rotating players in that second midfield spot next to Romeo. Romeo definitely the more holding of the options typically. Header on by Shane Long, but collected by Kiko. Hughes is able to keep it in play. Gets it into Sarr. We'll have it stripped off of him. But one back by Kiko. And now here's a break as Danny Ings finds the ball in a lot of space. Has one out to his left. Shane Long cuts it back. And that probably ends the attack here for a little bit as he slows the ball down. Tries to play a crossfield pass. It's picked off by Roberto Pereira. Ball bounces around here as Deeney tries to get control, but it ends up with Walker-Peters. He'll lob a ball up the field towards Danny Ings, who will just about keep it in, but doesn't get a lot on the cross. Watford will comfortably clear away. Second ball won by Doucouré. He'll look wide to Ismaila Sarr. This ball goes long for Sarr, but Vestergaard will win the header, and it will deflect out of play off of Doucouré. So far, definitely, again, a little bit of a sloppy start here. A little bit of nice play from Southampton, I would say, settling into the game maybe a little bit quicker. I've had a little bit more of possession. I've had a couple of semi-flowing moves of play here where I've been able to get the ball upfield to either Smallbone or Ings, just not quite the final product here yet. I think Watford's still trying to find their way into this match, get a little possession and settle in. Speaking of that, here is Decore off a one-header by Deeney, but his pass evades Roberto Pereira. Southampton again in possession. This will be picked off by Messina, played back to Ben Foster. Cathcart. Hughes. Kiko. And another long pass from Kiko, really into no one. I mean, Sarr is coming short to show defeat. Kiko under a little bit of pressure from, it looks like Danny Ings just forced to play it long, and this second or third ball from him that's just really found nobody. It's kind of been throwaway of possession. Here's a long ball up to Nathan Redmond on the left, but he will be offsides. That one will come back. See the rain coming down here in Watford today. Does not look like the most enjoyable weather to play a soccer game in. You know, back in the day, I think, and even today, I really enjoy playing in light rain, where you can get a little bit of a slick field, get the quick passing going, get a nice little skid on the ball when you take a strike. But the second it becomes a lot of rain, and you can start to feel it in your socks and shoes, and feel it on feel your shirt weighing you down. It can get a little obnoxious here, and definitely more towards that end of rain in Watford here today, as Smallbone draws a foul. Be taken by McCarthy. Both these teams in okay form before the break occurred. Their last couple matches have been sort of pedestrian. A nice win for Southampton in their first match back, 3-0 win, I believe, against Norwich, and then a loss against one of the upper tier sides. And Watford coming in with match against Leicester and Aston Villa, and probably a couple of semi-disappointing results from there. Drawing Leicester, never a bad thing. Leicester in third place in the table right now, and Watford played a pretty good match there defensively, but didn't really look together offensively, and were bailed out by that Craig Dawson bicycle kick, although the Leicester goal was a screamer from Ben Chilwell as well. But the second game against Aston Villa is one they would hope to be winning, as they sit with 28 points in 18th position, 16th position, I believe, just above the relegation zone. Would have been hoping to have a better performance in that match against team like Aston Villa, very low down on the table. Southampton sitting on 37 points, pretty safe, I would say, from drop, but they're definitely still looking to win matches like these against opponents of similar position. Watford, Aston Villa, Norwich, Bournemouth. Watford win the ball back here in the attack, in their defensive end. Clearance bounces around and finds Hughes, but his pass is picked off. Finally up to Deeney, who controls and plays the ball a little bit too early for Sarr, but it is fumbled a little bit by Vestergaard and will be a Watford throw-in. Kiko looking for a throw here, struggling to find one. Ball's cleared long for another Watford throw. There's a long ball from the left back, but it does not quite connect with Roberto Pereira. Messina tried to float that one in, but pretty well defended by Bednarak, who saw it coming all the way. Uses his body to see the ball away from Pereira over the touchline for a goal kick. Looks like McCarthy will look long. See, all right, now a lot of tifos in the background covering the empty seats of the stadiums, of the stadium in Watford, and similarly across the Premier League, with English Premier League resuming with no fans allowed in attendance, of course, because of the COVID crisis. And actually, after winning the title last week due to Chelsea beating City 2-1, Liverpool, of course, had a really large celebration outside their stadium. Their first championship in 30 years, and most of their fans probably couldn't help but go celebrate. But was very interesting given the national guidelines and national laws in place here to reduce the spread of COVID-19, and Liverpool actually condemned their own fans afterwards for gathering in such numbers. Clearly no social distancing going on, and interesting that the club did go ahead and do that, but it is a public health crisis and definitely something that needs to be considered for the health and safety of everyone. But yeah, it sort of expected after a 30-year layoff from the title for fans that are used to success in the pre-Premier League era. Pre-Premier League, Liverpool was an absolutely dominant side, won a ton of titles, but actually had not won an official Premier League title since the league reformed and was officially called the Premier League. That era has been dominated, of course, by Manchester United and Sir Alex Ferguson, quote-unquote, knocking Liverpool off their perch in the modern era. And now Liverpool finally feeling that return to power, as their team has been top of the Premier League and top of Europe really for the last 2.5 seasons. Here's a great ball in the Sar behind. He will cut it back, but there's no one following the runs. Both Doucouré and Deeney ran a little bit too deep, and Ismaila Sarr's pullback was unable to find any third runner. Now a ball up to Long. He'll collect well and draw a foul from Craig Dawson. You can see here a nice little turn by Pereira. Slows the play down and then finds a great ball into Sarr. His cutback's actually not bad. It finds good space, but you can see Deeney too close to the touchline. And Doucouré in the back post ran probably a little too early. You can see there's nobody there for that, more severe angled cutback, which is actually a pretty good ball from Sarr in my opinion. Finds a good amount of space, just no yellow shirts there, as I think their runs were a little bit too early. But nice play from Roberto Pereira, and definitely the first real sort of good passage of play for Watford here. Here's Messina looking long again. Will be won by Deeney. Headed away by Vestergaard. And the clearance sort of completed by Ward-Prowse, so the ball ends up at his feet again. Well won by Danny Ings here. And a great move to get around Capoue, but good defense there from Cathcart. Picks off the pass. That was almost a brilliant play there from Ings. He picks the pass off of Capoue, plays the ball around him, and continues to run and gets it back. And just not quite able to connect that final pass, as Vestergaard able to cut out a return pass to Capoue there. Will go out for a throw-in. And Danny Ings again continuing his run of form. Has looked pretty lively when the ball's been in and around him this match so far. Here's Sarr. Ball across here to Dawson. Dawson, long angled pass, picked off by Walker-Peters. Redmond will collect into Romeo, who will spread it wide for Walker-Peters. I apologize, that was Ryan Bertrand winning the initial header. Smallbone. Bednarak. Now Bertrand. Ward-Prowse. Romeo. Vestergaard. Some patience shown here by Southampton, pulling this one back into their defense as the space closed down in the initial attack. Ball will go all the way back to Alex McCarthy. He will look long here to the left side. Header will be won by Cathcart, but the second ball will be collected by Nathan Redmond. Now Bertrand into Shane Long. Romeo. Good turn from Danny Ings. Finds a little short pass to Shane Long. Takes the shot, but it is right at Ben Foster, who will catch. But a nice sequence here as Romeo cuts a ball into Ings. The quick turn, little flicked pass to Shane Long, who gets a pretty decent shot on his weaker left foot. Unfortunately for him, it's a good height and right at Ben Foster, so a pretty easy save there for the Watford keeper. Play will resume here with a punt forward. Won by Southampton, and now out with Walker Peters with some space to run. A lay off to Smallbone. We'll reset it to Romeo. Romeo with a nice pass into Ings. Looks for the run of Redmond coming in from the left, but just doesn't quite wrap his foot around the ball, and it squeaks out to the left where Kiko will collect. Pressured by Redmond, he will lob it forward really to no one, and it's won back by Romeo. Kiko again has been struggling to find options when put under pressure, but here's Southampton with another attack. Great touch inside by Ings. He's going to take a shot at the top of the 18, and he scores! Danny Ings continues his excellent goal-scoring form as he takes the ball inside the Watford defense and tucks it into the right-hand corner. 1-0 Southampton. This is just great individual play here from Danny Ings. A little bit questionable on the Watford defense, not closing this down. You can see in the replay here a nice entry pass into the midfield. They find Ings running in from the wide side. He takes a great setup touch, and his shot just confuses Foster. He doesn't hit it with a ton of power. This nice entry pass from Smallbone. Yeah, he doesn't hit it with all of his power, but it's just perfectly placed in the corner, and I think Foster's a little out of position. He doesn't even really dive for this, just gives kind of a slide to his left, and that ball just nets itself into the bottom right corner. Great work from Danny Ings, evading two challenges from Cathcart and Dawson and just tucking that one away. And Southampton with probably a deserved lead on the pace of the game so far. And now 17 minutes in, 1-0 Southampton. It's a long clearance from Bednarak, won by Craig Dawson. Picked up by Smallbone here. Or sorry, looks like Ward-Prowse, but will be cleared out by Messina, who is hurting. May have gotten stepped on there. He's hobbling right now. Keep an eye on that one, but it does seem he started jogging again. Ball with Vestergaard. Ward-Prowse. Bednarak. Pass deflected there by Doucouré. Will go out for a Southampton throw. This ball chased down by Shane Long, forcing Foster into an awkward clearance on his left foot. Ball's won back by Romeo. See here now, 17 goals for Danny Ings this season. It's the fourth most in the Premier League for a side on the bottom of the table in a lot of tough matchups. That is extremely impressive goal return. Here's Bednarak. Vestergaard clears. Now Messina with the throw. Not a lot of options yet. Still looking around. Finally throws it. Doucouré up for it, but loses the battle with Bednarak. Looks forward to Long, who will pressure this, but headed safely back by Dawson to Foster. Now Dawson. A lot of pressure here from Southampton, forcing Foster to clear. Deeney will get checked off that ball by Bednarak. Dawson up for this header. Be pressured by Smallbone, but will again get it back to Foster. Sarr comes in and wins a bouncing ball, and wow, just streaks through a couple of Southampton players here. Tries to splay it wide to Doucouré, but his touch off the chest is just a little too long and is cleared away by Bertrand. But a really swashbuckling run there from Sarr. Here's Doucouré. Cross in from the right. Deeney will go up, but will not quite connect. Ball will come out to Messina here, who will cross again. Oh, and Sarr was open at the back post, but just may have been put off by a teammate or opponent there. Kind of let it go through. Watford does collect again. Kiko up to Pereira. Pereira with a tough first touch, and Vestergaard is able to knock it out for a throw-in. Here's a cross from Sarr. Cannot connect with Deeney as Bednarek clears. Southampton will knock it upfield. Be collected by Dawson. Now Cathcart. Capoue. Hughes. Great turn here from Pereira. Gets it wide to Sarr, but leaves him a little bit short. And Sarr is seen off the ball by Redmond. Takes it back. Finds Danny Ings. Will look across for Kyle Walker-Peters coming up from right back. Not a ton of white shirts with Walker-Peters in attack, and he will cut it back to Ward-Prowse now. Again to Walker-Peters. And back to Bednarek, who will probably... nope. Ward-Prowse. Romeu. Look for a inside run from Redmond, but his ball too central, harmlessly into the hands of Ben Foster. Foster will look long. This ball won by Etienne Capoue, but will be headed back by Vestergaard into the hands of Alex McCarthy. We'll wait for Deeney to pressure him. That's pretty standard fare, but might be a little early for McCarthy to be acting in that manner, forcing Watford to come pressure him, eating seconds off the clock. With 23 minutes gone in the first half of play. But you do often see that when a team takes a 1-0 lead, they will tend to tighten up a little bit defensively, take every advantage they can get. Now here's Bertrand. With Redmond on his left. We'll find him. Redmond will cut inside against Hughes here. Cut back towards the top of the box, but met by Capoue. Romeu with clip pass into the box. Will find Ward-Prowse after a mix-up in the Watford defense, but he cannot get his shot down and just loops it over the bar there. Just missed with his half volley here. You can see Watford has a read on this ball, but some miscommunication. Ward-Prowse able to get a touch, and looks like a great chance for him here. Yeah, settles it with his chest. Oh, and he just mistimes the bounce on the ball and doesn't get his foot around it. And he just sails it over the crossbar. And that's actually an excellent chance there as Foster is coming out of his goal line. All he really needs to do is get some solid contact to sail that one over Foster's shoulder. And chance missed there for Southampton. We will go to the water break here. So due to the resumption of the Premier League after a 3-month layoff, Premier League has implemented a water break in each half around the 23-minute mark, around the half of each half, so that players can get a break, make sure they are not overexerting themselves, as there are a lot of matches in shorter period of time here to try to sort of catch up or make up for some of the scheduling loss with the 3 months off. Will be a welcome break probably for Watford here, who is definitely under the cosh, under a lot of pressure from Southampton, who have looked much livelier, much more composed on the ball, and had much more of a game plan so far in this match. So maybe be able to use this water break to make a couple of tactical changes, or just for the coach to get the side going a little bit, and maybe light a fire behind them and push them forward, because Watford have looked, as mentioned a couple times, just pretty off the pace so far in this match. Not a lot of ideas going forward, and a little bit questionable defensively. You saw it on the goal for Ings. Nobody really closed him down or put a lot of pressure on him. He was able to slot fairly easily for a forward of his caliber, I think, from the top of the box into the bottom right corner. And that last chance there, two Watford defenders get mixed up communicating and allow Ward-Prowse to sneak in between them and get a touch and almost get a shot on target there. So definitely things to clean up for Watford here, but fortunately for them, it is still only 1-0 and there is time to play, as Foster will restart the game here with his goal kick. Will be won by Bednarik. Now Walker-Peters. Well, cleared by Dawson, but won by Bednarik. Collected by Will Hughes. We'll find Kiko. Will be forced to retreat back to Foster. Pressured hard here by Shane Long. Forced to play it long. But it's won by Doucouré. His header will not quite find an on-rushing Messina. But he will win the second ball. Pereira will lose out to Walker-Peters, but Dawson will collect the clearance. And all the way back to Foster again. So Long went up towards Deeney, who does win the header. Some pressure from Pereira on Walker-Peters. We'll try to knock it off of him, but well dodged by Pereira. Will be a throw for Watford. Scene will look towards Deeney, who will try to flick it to Doucouré, but well read by Southampton. Now here's Doucouré again, out wide. But read by Redmond. Wins the tackle, but does knock it out for a throw. Now here's Capoue. Long, or Kiko. Doucouré. Doucouré tries to shift it over to Pereira, but his pass is blocked. Now here's Messina. We'll find Pereira. Pereira will take on Walker-Peters here, but well defended by the young right back. Will get his body in the way, and Pereira will bundle him over for a foul. So still nothing doing here for Watford in attack. They're definitely going to need to have some new ideas here that really have not done much to penetrate the Southampton back line at all. And the long ball is played to Deeney while he is great in the air. Is up against two very large, powerful aerial center backs in Vestergaard and Bednarik, who have looked pretty uncowed by the challenge so far. So definitely need an injection of something new or some sort of inspiration here for this Watford attack. But Southampton will be happy to see the match continue the way it does, except for one of their players now down on the pitch. Does look to be Shane Long. This would definitely be an unfortunate loss for them. Shane Long, a big point of pressure for them. Always hustling and harrying defenders, goalkeeper, and very good at holding the ball up and making well-timed runs in behind the back line. Has formed a nice partnership with Danny Ings here, so does look to be a leg injury of sorts. He is sitting up, breathing fine, but just looking at his right leg right now, let's potentially get a replay here to see what happened. Oh, and we will get a replay here. Looks like going up for a header with Messina. Just lands maybe a little bit awkwardly. Oh, just gets cleated in the knee by one of his own teammates. I believe Smallbone, actually. As he comes down. Yeah, it looks like they're looking at that area. Is getting a thumbs up from the trainer, so maybe just a bruise. And yeah, you can see Smallbone there looking at showing the bottom of his cleats to indicate he he knows he got long as well, unfortunately. But yes, should hopefully just be some minor treatment here. Bandage it up and should be ready to go. Nathan Redmond and Danny Ings in conversation with the manager. As again, so far his game plan has pretty much gone perfectly for them. He'll be very, very happy. I'm sure a few tweaks here and there, but overall this 4-4-2 working very well. Both his strong aerial center backs holding up well against the threat of Troy Deeney. Defense overall looks very untroubled, dealing well with any long balls from Watford, and really haven't had to deal with any penetrating attacks yet, as Watford have yet to really keep concerted possession and try anything incisive on the ground yet. So definitely working out here. And here's a mistake from Craig Dawson. Gives the ball back to Long just up from his injury and gets absolutely clobbered by Dawson. This is probably, yes, definitely a yellow card there. Quite the cynical tackle, I would say. Just kind of goes straight through Shane Long, and definitely a deserved yellow here as he tries to make up, I suppose, for this mistake in possession. Yeah, it just comes straight through Long. It's a pretty nasty challenge, that. Yeah. Never near the ball. And a free kick here in a pretty decent position for Southampton. Expect to see James Ward-Prowse on this one. Bit of a set-piece specialist. Very good crosser, very good free kick taker. Will be Redmond, actually. Gets some nice dip on it. Does get up and over the wall, but not really enough power, and Foster sees it all the way, and it's a pretty easy catch at the end of the day, but not bad technique there. Maybe just a little more power and accuracy needed from Nathan Redmond. Foster looks long here with a short punt. Sarr goes up and wins the header over Romeu, who goes down on the ground. The referee will stop play. Any potential head injury will get an immediate stoppage. If a player goes down for leg or other reason, can continue to play on. But considering in recent years some of the treatment and some of the mistreatment around head injuries and concussions, Christoph Kramer at the World Cup being a primary example. Premier League and a lot of leagues around the world have made it a priority if there appears to be any sort of head injury to stop play immediately and make sure the player is treated appropriately. And you can see he just kind of gets clipped by the arm of Sarr as Sarr goes up over him. Yeah, got a little bit of blood coming out of the nose here. Definitely took a knock there. It's a little unfortunate. Definitely no intent from Sarr. But the unfortunate casualty is Oriol Romeu in this case. So 33 minutes in, another stoppage here. Southampton still leading 1-0 and looking the better of the two sides so far by a good margin. But given a 1-goal lead, it can turn around pretty quickly here if Watford can find a little change of pace, maybe a little bit of inspiration from one or two of their players. But so far, so good for the Saints here. Watford management staff in conversation trying to find something to kind of change the pace of this game. Pick the Southampton defense apart, but so far nothing doing as McCarthy will receive possession. Will punt long. Won by Messina. Out to Kiko. Leave it for Cathcart. Now Dawson. Messina. Another long ball into Ismaila Sarr, who will win the first header. Second ball will be won by Southampton and will be cleared up the field by Bertrand. Almost collected by Danny Ings, who does keep the pressure on here. Foster will look short to Dawson. Back to Foster. Look long up the line to Messina. Takes a nice touch there. Keep possession. Now Capu. And Kiko. Will Hughes. Doucouré. And Pereira. Out to Messina. Will whip across in short on the ground. Falls to Hughes at the top of the box. Takes a strike. And it is straight off the head of James Ward-Prowse. And they will stop play for this. As mentioned just a couple minutes ago with head injuries. Pretty good contact there by Hughes on that strike. And it came straight off the face of James Ward-Prowse. And he definitely looks a little dazed. You can see this one pop out. And Hughes setting himself. Strikes it on the left foot. Yeah, makes good contact. Just comes right off the left side of Ward-Prowse's face there. Is up and walking. Do hope the best. Hope there is no concussion there. Does seem to be all right. Romeo comes back on the field after getting some of the gauze in his nose removed from the earlier nosebleed. Play should resume here, I would imagine, with Watford ball. Looks like Walker Peters will knock it back to the Watford keeper. Dawson across to Kiko. Closed down by Redmond here. Will lob it long, but again, easily read by Bertrand. Really the 6th or 7th time this has happened from Kiko, and you can't really say it's necessarily his fault. He's just not having a ton of options when he's looking up, and he's getting closed down consistently by Redmond and or Ings or Long, and really just not getting any options to play out. Forced to play it long, and Bertrand is there to read it every time. It's a long ball won here by Vestergaard. Collected by Capu. Doucouré will drive it to Messina. Look back to him, but his pass will be blocked by Smallbone. Looks infield for Shane Long. There's a Watford player down as this ball goes out wide to Danny Ings. Will battle Kiko here. Pretty decent defending there from Kiko, who does get a piece of the ball, but oh, there's a foul called, and I'm not so sure about that one. Danny Ings is a well-fought battle here with Kiko, but it looked like Kiko got his foot on the ball, and Ings sort of tripped over the ball as Kiko made the challenge. Let's see here. Kiko gets his body... Yeah, I don't see that one as a foul. Ings definitely has his body inside of Kiko, but Kiko wins that ball with the outside of his right foot. The ball bounces off of Danny Ings there, and I think Ings goes down as his momentum gets thrown off by the ball. Not Kiko, and I think that's an unfortunate one there for the right back. I think that's actually pretty well defended in my eyes. But a set piece it is nonetheless, and Ward-Prowse will step up here, will swing one in, but nobody from Southampton is able to get on that ball at the near post, and Foster is able to catch. Will look short, not see any options. And we'll likely punt this one long. Nope, out to Craig Dawson here, who will go straight across to Cathcart. Cathcart to Kiko. Back to Hughes. Back to Cathcart. Nice pressure here from Southampton, absolutely closing this down, and Hughes barely able to keep possession. As Cathcart forced all the way back to Foster. You can see the pressure here from them, very well organized. Forcing Watford into decisions they don't like, and Foster forced to go long. The header is won by Messina over Walker Peters, but the second ball is cleared away by Bednarek. Collected by Smallbone. Walker Peters up to Long. Played back to Ward-Prowse, and nice switch here from Smallbone. Will find Ryan Bertrand. Looks up. We'll cut it back. Bednarek, a little short of options, but eventually does find Ward-Prowse on the right touchline. Considers a long through ball, but decides to play a two-man game with Walker Peters. Ball goes into Danny Ings, but his first time ball out to Smallbone is picked off by Messina. Will look long for Dini. Loses the aerial battle against Vestergaard. Second ball collected by Doucouré, but in the scramble, Bednarek comes away with it. Now Bertrand. Redmond. Redmond with a clipped pass in behind, but easily read by Messina. Plays up to Capu. You see a little frustration from Capu there, asking for something from Cathcart, a better angle. He didn't really have any options in midfield. Doucouré now. Dawson. Closed down here by Ings. Forced back to Foster. How many times have we said that this match? This Southampton press doing a very nice job just putting Watford in an uncomfortable position. But here's a nice ball from the midfield. It's well taken down by Sarr, who gets to the baseline, is dragged back, asks for a foul from the referee, but gets absolutely nothing. A good recovery there from Ryan Bertrand. This is a great ball in from Capu. Well-timed run by Sarr. His first touch is excellent. Gets himself into the path, but eventually is just kind of harried by Bertrand. He's not really happy with the treatment, but they both kind of have their arms on him. There's a little shirt tug from Bertrand there, but yeah, it wasn't much. A little soft from Sarr there, who looked like he had a step on Bertrand. Could have definitely gotten across and decided to ask for the foul and got no sympathy from the center referee. This one just cleared out by Cathcart, let his defense reset. But yeah, one of the few good passages of play there from Watford, kind of wasted. Don't know if he had a ton of options available in the box, but looks like Southampton will take their time with this throw-in. We approach the 42-minute mark. There's about 3 minutes left in the half, probably 3 to 4 minutes of stoppage time due to the stoppage for Romeu and Ward-Prowse. Watford try to play out, but Sarr's touch escapes him and goes out for a Southampton throw. Bertrand into Shane Long, gets harried by Cathcart, who will clear it out. Long complaining to head referee here, similar to Sarr, and similar to Sarr, will get no sympathy. Throw in here to Shane Long, just inside the box. We'll try to play back. We'll find Bertrand. His centering pass cut out by Pereira. Played ahead to Deeney, who will be collapsed on by two recovering Southampton players who win the ball back. But Deeney hassles and harries and is able to win it back to Sarr. Scramble comes out to Danny Ings, who's able to ultimately win possession for a Southampton throw. Good battling there by Deeney, but unable to come away with possession. Just hasn't been involved too much, has Troy Deeney. Been engaged in aerial battles with Bednarak and Vestergaard, but not really getting the ball to his feet very much in this match so far. See the Southampton manager there with a kind of big tuft of hair coming out of the back of his hat. Always a question of whether it's time or not for a haircut when you can start to see that tuft popping out the back of your cap. Southampton with the ball now, but picked off by Messina, who will look up the field. His clearance will go out of play for a throw-in. Walker-Peters again now. Look long up the line here. Headed away by Messina for the third successive Southampton throw-in. as we've reached the 45-minute mark. Haven't seen it. There it is, 4 minutes of stoppage time. A few aerial battles won here by Southampton. Redmond forward to an onrushing Bertrand. Will cross first time to the back post. Well done by Messina at the back post. Being engaged by Smallbone, looking to head that one back across, and gets a flicked header on it to clear the danger for a Southampton corner. Now Bednarik and Vestergaard who have done so well in the air defensively, will get a chance to come forward. Here's Ward-Prowse from the right-hand side. Outswinging corner looks good. It is won by Capu. And Bednarik will just clear the ball to no one. Not sure if he's just looking for a reset there, if maybe a steward confused him there. But he just clears that one out. It's a header won by Bertrand, collected by Ward-Prowse, who will find Walker-Peters. Now Redmond on the right side now. Back to Romeu. Into Bednarik and into Romeu again. Some good patience, good composure from this Southampton team. Midfield looks sharp. It's a pass from Redmond's deflected, but Danny Ings is alert to it. We'll retreat all the way back to McCarthy, who boots it forward. Will be won by Capu, but his header is towards no one and will go out of play for a Southampton throw-in. So just about 2 minutes left now in stoppage time. It's going to Southampton leading 1-0 on a Danny Ings goal in about the 15th or 16th minute. There's Walker-Peters. Vestergaard. Bertrand. We'll look up the line to Redmond here. Back to McCarthy. McCarthy long. Towards Shane Long, who will actually win the header against Cathcart. Second ball is won by Capu, collected by Sarr, who is clipped from behind and fouled by Bertrand. Ensuing free kick is launched long towards the left side with Deeney, but Will Hughes is in a battle with Kyle Walker-Peters and eventually will draw a foul. Sorry, it's Craig Dawson. And right before the end of the half here, just at the 3.5 minute mark in extra time, Watford will get a free kick from a pretty decent position where they can swing a ball in here, and will send everybody forward to try to take advantage of this. See Will Hughes, Roberto Pereira standing over the ball. Will be Hughes with the in-swinger here. Well read the entire way by Vestergaard. Pops out to Capu, who will have a strike, but that ball is always rising, and that will be the end of the first half. So once again at halftime, Southampton leading Watford 1-0 on a brilliant Danny Ings goal in the 16th minute of play. Definitely a deserved lead for Southampton, and we'll be looking to continue that run of that play in the second half, while Watford will be looking for some answers to change the pace of this game. Once again, 1-0 Southampton as we go into halftime. All right, guys, we can kind of recap that just a little bit, and then I'm going to go grab some water and go to the bathroom here. So if we're looking at the Foot Mob ratings here, it's like Danny Ings at an 8.0. And by the way, if anyone is here or if anyone does come, let me know if these are too small. They look big enough to me, but I can tell the text is maybe a little fuzzy in places where there's a lot of letters. I can try to make it bigger now and in the future. So just let me know if that's not clear enough. But let's see here. So definitely Southampton, definitely the better of the two sides in this half. Watford really with not a lot of ideas, just kind of launching long balls. Hopefully they're not trying to play any sort of possession. They're not really playing into Deeney's feet, which would be, I think, a little more effective if you could play into his feet and get him to drop a ball back, say, to Doucouré or Pereira coming in from the wing. But it's just really hard for him. So, he's really good in the air. If you look at him from like a fantasy perspective, for example, he's on my team. He wins a ton of aerial battles, like 8 to 10 per match. And so that's a skill set they try to use. But, he's up against Yannick Vestergaard and Jan Bednarek, who are huge human beings. They're massive. They've always been super good in the air. Both of them a little bit on the slow side for center backs, I think, but really, really good at that one specific area. They're obviously good at other things, but that's sort of their bread and butter, right? And so launching long balls into these two guys seems, you can see it playing out. It's really not a super effective strategy. They kind of eat that up all game. So even if Deeney wins a few against them, you're not really generating too much off of that. Sarr's been isolated. Pereira's been pretty isolated. Like, none of those front three have really touched the ball a lot. And Southampton look good. Their midfield's been moving well. You can see sort of Ward-Prowse popping up at the right, the left, just kind of in sort of a free role in that midfield to kind of run around and get possession and move it. Romeo definitely more of the holder. But Smallbone has looked pretty good, I think. Redmond's been active. They've been switching sides, looking for advantages, and they've been pretty clean. They're patient in possession. They're moving the ball well. Ings and Long are having good interplay. So I think if we look at the ratings, Ings at 8.0 is definitely solid. I think he's been the best player in the match so far. He looks, he's not on the ball a ton, particularly after the first 20 minutes, but he has looked super lively, went on it and went around it. I think the 6-3 for Shane Long's a bit harsh, actually. I think he's made a lot of good movement. He's been in good positions. He's held up play pretty well. His pressure he's applying is really good. Their pressure from Long, Smallbone, Ings, and like Ward-Prowse in the front four has been really, and Redmond on the left side with Kiko, have been really good. It's forced Watford into a lot of crappy long passes. I mentioned the ones that Kiko's been forced to play that Bertrand has just been winning on the left side the whole match. Some of those are him just kind of hoping for something, but some of them are he just has no options. He's out of time. So I think maybe a little harsh on Shane Long there. I think the 7-0 for Redmond, the 6-9 for Romeo, the 6-9 for Ward-Prowse, all about spot on. I think the 6-9 for Smallbone's probably fine. 6-9, 7-0, be good. Walker-Peters at 6-4. I think that's probably fine. He hasn't been super involved in the match. Definitely the least involved of all of the defenders, mostly because the attack hasn't come down his side very much, but he's been fine with everything he's been asked to do, but hasn't done a lot offensively, so 6 is probably fine. Bednarek and Vestergaard have been very good at 7. I think Bertrand's been very good. He could probably be up at 7. McCarthy hasn't had anything to do. 6 is, 6.5 is fine. And then, a lot of the Watford players with struggling ratings here. Foster could have done better on the goal, I think. I don't know if he saves it, but it wasn't really hit with a ton of power. He was definitely out of position a little bit. I think Messina's been the best defender, but they've all been pretty 5.5 to 6 for sure. Capu's been okay at a 6. I think Hughes has been invisible this match so far. I think that's probably more of like a 5.5 than a 6 for him. Pereira's been pretty invisible. I'd say it's a 5.5. Doucouré, probably a bit harsh on him. He has lost possession a lot, but he's been asked to do quite a bit. Like, he's sort of been running around just trying to get anything to happen. I think the 3 there is pretty harsh on him. I'd give him more like a 5.7. He's at least trying to do stuff, even if it's not coming off. He's trying to win tackles, but Sarr's been okay, but just hasn't had the ball, right? You just haven't seen him on the ball. And Deeney's there at a 5.2. I think, maybe a little bit harsh with some of these ratings, but in general, I'd say it's pretty on. Watford were very average in that half, and they're going to need to come up with a lot of answers in the second half. Maybe change something up, but in general, the pace of play just looks super good for Southampton. So we'll see. I think Southampton's been pretty good since the start of the break. I mean, even in their loss, they didn't play terribly. Watford have definitely been stifled compared to what they looked like before the break. So we'll see if they can turn around in the second half. But the way this is going, I see it being even more for Southampton by the end. But I'm going to go grab some water and take a bathroom break before the end of this half. I'll be right back with you guys. Thanks for watching. I am back, chat. We are still on break. Alright, I'm actually going to tell my fantasy soccer league that I'm streaming. I'm always a little hesitant because they get huge kicks out of it and they make fun of me for like a week afterwards, but I'm too committed to stop. I need to keep doing this to practice, and it's fun, but I'm sure I'll get some crap. I guess NBC's showing some videos of Liverpool fans celebrating their Premier League win. It's weird for me because as a Man U fan, I hate it. I really hate it. It's really obnoxious. But, you know, they're obviously an exceptional team. One of the best 3 teams in Europe, probably. I would say them, Man City, and maybe Bayern right now, honestly. I think Barca's actually not super great. Real Madrid have had struggles. I think the only problem with Man City is like sometimes their defenders are so questionable. Like you get so much consistency out of Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. And Alexander-Arnold is, I think Trent's honestly like just an awesome soccer player. He's so talented at so many things. Like, you think back when like Philipp Lahm, when Pep was coaching Bayern Munich, he would just like play Philipp Lahm in like holding midfield, like play him at right back, play him at 3 back, like do whatever. Because like Lahm was just so smart and so composed. And I think Trent's got even like more than Lahm does. He's like probably a better crosser of the ball, maybe a bit more athletic. But like that sort of ability, like Trent has that ability to just play like almost anywhere on the field. Robertson is more of like a traditional, hardworking like outside back with good crossing on like a good team, and he's just got an engine, like an absolute engine. But those guys are super consistent, right? And then Virgil's immense, probably the best center back in the world. So your only question mark on Liverpool is who plays next to Virgil. And like Matip's solid. Joe Gomez is solid, I think. Lovren's okay. But those 3 defenders are so much more consistent than like what City gets if their best defenders are hurt, right? Like, you see what happened this year when Laporte got hurt. Like, I don't know what happened to John Stones, by the way, because he actually used to be good. But like, the fact that you had to go to Fernandinho as your center back is just crazy when you have that squad and that much money. Like, Ben Mendy was shocking in the match against Chelsea. Zinchenko's been pretty whatever after a pretty good season last year. Your right back's fine. I think Kyle Walker's good. I think Kyle Walker's pretty good. And the rest of your squad is just insane. But they've just gotten crushed by it. I mean, even last year, right, losing to Tottenham in the Champions League, like, their best defender was the one who screwed up. Like, Laporte handed 2 goals to Tottenham, to Son. He passed one to Son, and he got scorched by Son for 2 goals, and that like cost them the Champions League. So it's been weird, but I still think City's like a top 3 side in Europe. Their squad is so good. They might not be in Europe next season, but we'll see. But yeah, so with Liverpool being that good, like, you just have to acknowledge they're that good. And my roommate's a huge Liverpool fan, much bigger, soccer fan, much more well versed in history than I am, and he's been pretty happy. It's been nice to see him happy because they've struggled for a very long time. I know when we first met, like, it was very in my favor. United was still good, Ferguson was still there, we had a good squad, and since Ferguson retired, essentially, like, certainly not just the manager's faults. There's just been so many bad executive and managerial decisions at the club in general that the last 4 years it's finally a reversal, right? But he's been waiting for it a lot longer than I have. Like, Liverpool have been bad previously for a lot longer than United have been bad. So it's nice to see him finally get to enjoy it a little bit. It does sting a little bit, and I do get a lot of crap from him and another one of our former soccer teammates who was a big Liverpool fan. So it's pretty up and down. But yeah, watching Liverpool fan reactions is something I don't very much enjoy doing. I gave my roommate a hug and said congrats, and that was about it. I didn't want to watch anything else. Rough going for a Man U fan when the top 2 teams are your noisy neighbor crosstown rivals and Liverpool, of all people. Jeez. Let's see. Should I add some kind of like halftime entertainment? I don't know, maybe. We can just talk about stuff, but second half starting here. So going to go back into broadcaster mode. Thanks for joining me for the halftime opinion stuff, and get back in the game, and I'll see you at the end of the match, unless we get any chat questions. So here we go. Second half kicking off here. Southampton will get us underway, but ball bouncing back and forth here. It's like Watford will come out in possession, and actually Pereira is in a dangerous position behind the defense. Does have a lot of defenders around him. Is forced to cut it back to Deeney. Looks wide now to Messina. Will cross early looking for Deeney. It's too far, and Sarr traps it. It kind of looked like a handball, but he was able to bring it under control. His cross blocked by Bertrand and goes out of bounds for a throw here. Short throw to Hughes, who's just checked by Nathan Redmond and goes down. And I don't think you can blame him there. I don't think Redmond can complain. Did Will Hughes go down really easily there? Absolutely he did. Absolutely he did. But when you do this, right, he's checks him from behind. It's a foul every time. And, the player might embellish it for sure, but it's a rash decision there for Redmond. That will result in a Watford free kick here from essentially a corner kick position. Hughes will run over the ball. Pereira will deliver towards the back post. Headed back across, and Sarr's there. His shot is deflected by a Southampton defender. Will come out here to Kiko. Back to Pereira. Pereira with 2 on him. Look back to Kiko. Kiko back to Cathcart. Cross for Capu. Capu, long diagonal pass towards the right side. Will pick out a player, but his cross will be cleared out by Southampton. Try to collect by Ings. Will keep it in play. Redmond will keep it in play. Bertrand finds Oriol Romeu, whose touch betrays him a little bit. The loose ball to Dini. Dini strikes, but gets under the ball and sails it into the empty stands here. But finally, a very good chance there for Watford. Easily their best chance of the game. Pereira's training ground stuff here as he lobs it to the back post. 2 players there to head across. It falls to Sarr, and his shot is on target, but I believe it's deflected by Romeu here. Let's take a look. Back across, and no, it's deflected by Bertrand right in front of him. So good defending there from Bertrand, but definitely a good chance for Watford. First strike in a dangerous position. Definitely would have been on target had it gone through Bertrand. So long kick from McCarthy. Won well by Messina. Romeu will collect, but read by Capu, who wins it back. Here's Sarr. Now Hughes. Sarr out to overlapping Kiko. His touch is too big, and Bertrand is able to take it off of him. Now Walker-Peters with some room to run. Couple of Watford players still back in the attacking half. Will find Danny Ings here. Ings looks across. Left-footed cross. Someone is open at the back post, and he just overplayed Shane Long. Very nice counter movement there from Long, staying open at the back post, but Ings' cross is too far, and we have Sarr down back in the Watford attacking half here. See what happened. You see Kiko on the ball. It's tackled by, and I think he just probably takes a cleat there from Bertrand. I don't think there's anything wrong here from Bertrand. Yeah, wins the ball. Yeah, just clips him as he comes through there. That one will hurt, but can't be too upset. Definitely a well-won ball there by Bertrand. And here's the cross from Danny Ings. It's actually a very nice ball. Just gets great spin on it. It's headed towards the long, but it's just a little too high for him. And it just escapes and bounces out for a goal kick. But good vision there as Long was open at the back post. Danny Welbeck getting warm here for Watford, and this may be the sort of change of style that they need to get something going here. Definitely more of a to-feet striker than someone to play long balls into. May also come in on the wing. But a little bit better here from Watford at the beginning of this first half. Can see a little bit more energy, getting some space for a couple of their players. One good chance off of a set piece, so encouraging start from them. We'll have to keep it up, and that's not the way to do it. With a long looping pass there from Dawson, won by Redmond. Fortunately for Dawson, it's knocked out of bounds by Redmond. Sarr is still trying to jog that clip from Bertrand off. Probably will hurt for a little bit longer, but should be able to continue. Kiko into Hughes. Good possession kept here from Watford. Dawson will take it with him. Will look wide to Messina, but puts him in a world of trouble with that pass, and it goes out for a throw-in. Just plays it behind him and forces Messina in an awkward position there. There's some pressure coming out from Watford. McCarthy will kick long. Looking for Shane Long, who goes up well and wins again. Shane Long very well timed on a few of these leaps for the ball. Will be a Watford throw-in. It's Messina to Deeney, who will lose out in the battle to Bednarik. Capu will look wide for Sarr, but his pass is intercepted by Bertrand. Sarr does recover and look back, but his ball has a lot of pace on it and forces Cathcart into an awkward clearance that is collected well by Shane Long. Now Shane Long again. His pass read well, but picked off by Redmond. Driving in against some Watford defenders here. Will go to the baseline, get a left-footed cross in towards the back post, but just loops it a little too much, and that ball does cross the line out of play for a goal kick. Watson. All clipped out by Capu, but no one really in the vicinity. There is a chase here from Kiko, and well pressured. Will force Bertrand to clear. Bertrand a little frustrated. Nobody showed for him earlier. Kiko into Sarr. Will try to use his body to shield it. Does get a cross in, but doesn't quite get the connection. Easily cleared by Vestergaard. Kiko with a cross here. Picked out by Kyle Walker-Peters, who will half clear as far as Deeney. Now Dawson, his clearance is blocked by Danny Ings, but does bounce far enough that Watson will get to it. Or Foster will get to it, sorry. Except that Foster and Watford. So clearance falls into McCarthy's hands. Deeney complaining about a foul, but nothing given by the referee. It's Romeu. Vestergaard under a little pressure will look long. Header won by Cathcart. Picked up in midfield by Hughes, who was fouled by Ward-Prowse. Walker-Peters, pass picked off by Craig Dawson, who will look back to Foster. Foster goes long, aiming for Messina, but his pass is overhit. Will go out for a Southampton throw. And a scramble here for the ball. Neither team can get it under control, but eventually does bounce out to Watford, who will retain possession. This ball flicked out wide for Messina. Look upfield with a long diagonal pass towards Sarr, but easily cut up by Vestergaard. Cleared by Bednarik. Dawson, a Capu. Nice pass out to Kiko. Reset to Hughes. Hughes is absolutely harried here by Ward-Prowse and does manage to keep possession, but only after a lot of pressure. It's placed by Southampton. Now Capu, a nice sprayed pass to Kiko, who will cross early. Well read by Vestergaard. His clearance only as far as Hughes. Hughes with possession here. Harried by Ward-Prowse again. Hughes will look for a clip ball inside. Deeney will flick it on towards Doucouré, but well read by Southampton defense. Here's Deeney with a flick into Sarr. He will try to get around Walker-Peters, but Walker-Peters does just enough. Able to clear that one behind for a corner. Decently well worked there, and Sarr definitely with the pace to get past Walker-Peters, so Well recovered from the young defender. Pereira will set up for this corner kick from the left-hand side of the goal. In swinging corner, met at the front post by Smallbone, cleared away. Kiko will retreat, play back to McCarthy here. Foster. Foster will look long towards the right side, looking for an onrushing Deeney. That ball looks like it's just going to escape over the line for a goal kick. As we approach the 57-minute mark of the match here, we'll probably look to see a couple of changes in the next few minutes. Do recall that both sides get 5 substitutions due to the rules implemented following the COVID crisis break. So you have 5 substitutions available to both managers here. This ball cleared by McCarthy. Well won by Southampton. Shane Long getting his body in the way, but a pretty loose pass there from Ward-Prowse, picked off by Messina. He will look long with his second touch, but again, well won by Vestergaard against Deeney. Second ball finds Capu. Play short to Messina, out wide to Pereira, who will look to take on Walker Peters here. Walker Peters, with some help, will poke the ball away from Pereira. Be cleared. Well collected here by Danny Ings, who's able to win a throw-in. Excellent play again from Ings. Hasn't seen a ton of the ball in the second half, as has been less Southampton-sided than the first. Some pressure here put on by Sarr. Will just completely wrap Walker Peters and easily give away a foul there. It's over-eager defending, to be sure. Doucouré chasing down McCarthy will force him onto a clearance on his weaker left foot, but could have fooled me with a very long clear on that left foot. Nicely done by the goalie. See Welbeck sitting down once again. Changes available here for Watford. Here's Cathcart across to Dawson. Out to Messina. Back all the way to Foster. He will look to the right-hand side for Kiko, who will keep it in with a header. Second ball picked up by Hughes here. Streaking forward. Sarr is open in front of him. Closed down by the Southampton defense. We'll look to keep possession here as he's closed down by Redmond. Finds Kiko. Kiko now in trouble. Well worked dribble there to evade the oncoming long. He will look wide. Pass is picked, sort of blocked by his own player Pereira, who eventually does find Messina. Messina will cross, but closed down by Walker Peters. His cross is blocked. Eventually poked out by Walker Peters. Deep throw in here is headed away by Aurelio Romeu. Now Dawson to Messina again. Messina will flick it up to Pereira, who looks like he is able to win a corner off of the Southampton players. Watford's, I believe, third corner here. Second or third. Be taken from the left of the goal again. Here's Pereira. This one will make it into the mixer. Ward-Prowse heads clear. Shot taken by Hughes is blocked. And the resulting pass from Deeney is picked off. And now it's one-on-one Shane Long. Capu is trying to recover. And well played by Kiko to break that play up. No options for Shane Long, so definitely did have to take him on the dribble. Attempted to shape his body, but we'll come back to that as here's an attack for Watford. Doucouré across the box and cleared away for another corner. Definitely a lot of momentum here for Watford, looking a lot better than they did in the first half, and we'll be back to live players. Doucouré has his looking up to the sky here, not exactly sure what happened as NBC tried to show us a replay there. So here's that replay of the shot from Hughes, the header from Ward-Prowse. Nice strike there from Hughes. first time volley. Gets great contact on it, but blocked by the wall of Southampton defenders. And as we mentioned, Shane Long trying to take Kiko one-on-one, and well done by the Watford defender to come away with that ball. Here's the throw-in for Southampton, so that must have been the result of the Watford corner won by Doucouré. Here's Hughes into Deeney, flicked on to Sarr, takes a nice touch inside, finds Doucouré at the top of the box. He'll take the shot. It is blocked by Bednarek, and out for another Watford corner. Really starting to put the pressure on here as they have found some momentum in this second half, starting to get shots, get chances, possession around the 18-yard box of Southampton, and once again having to throw their body in the way to knock it out for a corner. Here is the corner to the back post. McCarthy's kind of blocked off by some bodies, gets a fist on it. Hughes with another strike from the top of the box, blocked again by Ward-Prowse. And Southampton finally able to clear and relieve the pressure. Watford definitely in the ascendancy in this half, starting to believe in themselves, really starting to put some attacks together here. As, again, in behind the line. This ball will be cut back to Messina, who will cross. Looked like it was deflected and headed away here by, I believe, Ward-Prowse. But wide again. Now for Deeney out here on the line. Will flick into Hughes. Miscommunication there between the two players is picked off by Redmond. He will look long, but it's too long for Shane Long, and Watford will retain possession and keep the pressure on to Southampton here. Here's Dawson now. Out to Messina. A little bit stagnant here. We'll come back across to Cathcart. Cathcart asking for some help, but forced to retreat. Again, once they're able to get organized, the Southampton team has been very good. Pressuring, filling in spaces. Really disrupting Watford coming out of the back. Messina, harried by Smallbone there, is able to knock it off him for a throw. We'll wipe off the ball here again. A wet and rainy first half here in Watford. Now here's Southampton with some space to run as Redmond, not too many white shirts with him, will play a through ball towards Danny Ings, but well read by Ben Foster and the rest of Watford defense, and he's able to collect. And now here comes Kiko the other way. Here's an early pass for Sarr, who has some space up against Vestergaard. Will try to cross. It is deflected by Vestergaard and will go out for a corner. And if you're Southampton, you don't want to be giving those spaces to Watford. Sarr and Pereira can definitely run. And a change will be made here. Looks like Armstrong going to be coming on for, I believe, Smallbone? Yes, is Smallbone coming off the field here. Definitely less impactful in the second half than he was in the first, but can be said for most of the Southampton team. The manager will look to get a change in pace here, try to shake something up, maybe get higher pressure from a fresh player, as Armstrong will come in on that right side of the midfield four. Will immediately lose out on a header to Pereira, but is touched too long and taken away by Vestergaard. Pass from Redmond finds Ings, now Walker-Peters. Pressured by Doucouré here. Will settle with Romeu. Ings back to Walker-Peters, into Ward-Prowse. Vestergaard closed down by Hughes. His pass will find Redmond, whose touch evades the on-rushing Kiko, but well recovered by Hughes to cover the space. Now Ward-Prowse, head up. Just keep possession to Bednarek. Bednarek, long clipped pass towards the box here. Easily won by Cathcart and chested back by Dawson into Foster's hands. Foster will look wide here, will throw it out into Messina's path, but asks him too much of him, and Armstrong able to pick off that pass from the goalkeeper. Good move from Romeu, gets past Deeney. Now here's Redmond. Overlapped on the left by Bertrand, looking into the box, but will cut it back for Redmond. Ward-Prowse. Redmond. Romeu. Bertrand. Into Ings. Back to Bertrand. Looking for a gap, but happy to keep possession with this 1-goal lead earned for them by Danny Ings in the 16th minute. And just needless foul here from Capoue. Referee will let them play on. Walker Peters finds Bertrand again. Bertrand closed down by 2 players. Finds a nice little clip pass into Danny Ings. Tries to knock it past Cathcart, but Cathcart is equal to it. Well collected by Asar, but stripped off to him by Romeu. Well, won by Doucouré. Here's some space. Pereira and Sarr on the right-hand side here. We'll find Sarr. 3 defenders around him. We'll have it poked off by Bertrand. Bertrand finds an exit pass there from the left side, and Southampton will be able to relieve the pressure. Now Armstrong. Wide here to Bertrand. Bednarik. Oh, and Walker Peters clipped there by Messina. Will earn him the ire of the referee, but no card. And we will get the second water break for the second half here. 67 minutes gone now. 1 change made. Armstrong for Smallbone on the side of Southampton. Might see some changes here from Watford, but they have looked a lot better in the second half, generating some pressure, getting some shots on target that have been blocked by defenders, but definitely a lot more dangerous than they were. And probably encouraging signs for the team and their manager. He hasn't huddled, trying to impart his last directions for the final break of the game onto his team here. Still in a 1-goal lead. If they can hold on for another 20 minutes or so, they will move to 40 points, which has sort of been the benchmark in previous seasons in the Premier League for guaranteeing safety. So definitely a mark they will want to hit. Watford still sitting at 28 will want to get at least a draw to keep themselves out of the relegation battle. Oh, here's another pass by Foster. It's picked off by Danny Ings. Gets a shot away and he scores! A terrible mistake from Ben Foster is picked off by Ings in midfield, drives into the box and gets a fortunate deflection off of Craig Dawson that beats Foster. Southampton lead 2-0, and that should wrap up the points here. Danny Ings celebrates with his teammates as he scores his second goal, but just another bad throw out here from Foster towards Messina. Ings' first touch is great. He just drives into the box alone, takes a touch wide, and the deflection from Dawson is what beats Foster here. Just a greedy throw out here and from Foster and made to be punished by Ings. And I can see this ball comes off the underside of Dawson's left leg, and that deflection takes it past Foster, but Ings will not complain. He and his teammates will celebrate, and it looks like Southampton will take home this win away at Watford. Unless there should be some very late dramatics here, as Redmond is fouled there by, I believe, Capoue. As mentioned today, Danny Ings has looked very sharp, and sharp again in punishing a Watford mistake there. I think only 3 shots for him and 2 goals today, but has been clean on the ball, has been clean in hold-up play, and definitely the most lively player on the field today. $18 goals this season for Ings, the second most in the Premier League. Here's some nice possession from Southampton. We'll find Bertrand on the left side. We'll look for a crossfield pass. Messina does well to get his body in the way and will win himself a throw-in at the cost of some damage to his right ankle. Nigel Pearson seems to be beside himself on the bench. Not very happy, I'm sure, with the development of that second goal. Probably not very happy with the development of the first goal either, to be fair. Looks like a couple changes are getting ready here for Watford. It's a header again, won by Vestergaard. Will fall here to Kiko. Looks for Sarr. Capoue forced back by Armstrong. Here's Long herring Dawson and will poke it off him, and now Long with some room to run. 3 Southampton shirts in the final third, but well defended by a retreating Capoue, who's able to get himself between Shane Long and the ball and clear that one out for a throw-in. Does take some damage going into the end boards there. A little winded, but well done by Capoue to make up for his teammate's mistake and hustle back. And it looks like we will see the introduction of Danny Welbeck here. Looks like Will Hughes will be coming off. A couple other players as Adam Messina seems to be withdrawn here. We'll get all 3 changes here in just a second. Waiting for see the names and for FootMob to update what's just happened. Let's see, yes, Messina, Pereira, and looks like Will Hughes will come off. Welbeck, and haven't quite seen the second and third changes here. Looks like Holebas has come on for Messina. This left side. Some well-worked interplay. And here's Redmond with a shot. Just doesn't wrap his foot around it, but very well played by Southampton in this right-hand corner. Danny Ings again involved, and Armstrong here able to keep it. Thread it through for Ings, who flicks it to Redmond, who just doesn't wrap his foot around the shot. Dribbles harmlessly wide, but so yes, Holebas on for Messina. Danny Welbeck on for Pereira. We'll have a Southampton change here as well. As Adams comes on for Shane Long, who has put in pretty good shift here for Southampton. So yes, here are the official 3 changes for Watford. You see Welbeck on for Hughes. Pedro on for Pereira. And that last one, Holebas on for Messina. So throw in towards, I believe, Pedro, who is able to win another throw. We'll look for a long throw in here as we hit the 75-minute mark in the match. Holebas can end up going short to Capoue, who leaves his pass short back to Holebas. It'll be cleared for another throw-in by Adams. Here's the long throw from Holebas. Headed clear by Romeu. Holebas caught in possession by Danny Ings. It's a flicked pass from Doucouré will find Deeney laying it off the top, but will not get his pass to Sarr as Vestergaard meets Kiko here. Sarr with some pressure from behind by Redmond. Looking for a pass, makes a nice move to beat Vestergaard. His cross comes in at the near post, is headed clear acrobatically by, I believe, Adams. Sorry, it is Bertrand. It's Kiko with a floated pass towards the middle. One over to Doucouré by Bednarek. It's in a scramble in the box. Watford players down on the ground trying to kick away at it, but it is blocked by Southampton. Comes out here to Adams. Adams will push forward with Armstrong overlapping him on the left. Redmond is on sides here and will get in, played into the gap in the back. Here's a great pass into Armstrong, but it's just too far for him as Welbeck comes back, clears it out for a goal and will likely draw a foul on Armstrong, who arrived to that ball late. Took Welbeck out. See here, Bednarek challenging Doucouré. Dawson getting held by Walker Peters for sure, but not sure if penalty worthy. And then some kicking on the ground by Dawson. See the rain still coming down here. Not sure if they'll review this. Even if they do, not sure if it's a clear and obvious error, which is the standard for video assistant referee. Eventually cleared out by a mass of Southampton bodies. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a review incoming. They are still looking at Armstrong down in the Watford penalty area. See here, retreating Welbeck will arrive at this first, and Armstrong definitely takes him out. I think just lands a little awkwardly as he sort of leads with his right foot. It's a bit abnormal and kind of lands on it as he goes down. Definitely coming in from the left. You want to strike with your left. I think he's just reaching for the ball with his right foot and comes down a little bit awkwardly. Do you remember Armstrong just introduced about 10 minutes ago for William Smallbone? Here is another Watford change, their fourth. As Kiko will come off. Be right back. Be sacrificed here. And Pusetto will come on here. Is Deeney going up to win a header? Doucouré will hit the second ball forward. Will win the ensuing header as well. Here's Pedro. It's a cross in from Holebas, and it's flicked into the goal. I believe it's an own goal. Not sure if Welbeck or Bednarek gets the final touch here, but the cross from Holebas finds its way into the back of the net, and now with 10 minutes remaining, Watford has a lifeline in this match that seemed doomed. You can see here's the overlap from Holebas. Here's the cross. Oh, and it is Bednarek, just not sure where Welbeck is, just reaches out his toe to flick it and puts it perfectly past his own goalkeeper. You hate to see that as a defender, and Bednarek just not in a great position, doesn't take the chance and just flicks it past McCarthy, has his head in his hands, so that one will go down as an own goal on Bednarek. And now 2-1 with 10 minutes to play. Watford now with some hope of actually getting something out of this match. Here is Welbeck trying to find Pusetto, but his pass is picked off by Bertrand. Now Romeu. Redmond sees Ward-Prowse in the left-hand channel here. Two players closing him down will find Romeu. Romeu with a long pass in. You can see Adams taken down at the top of the box by Dawson. Definitely a foul. Dawson is on a yellow card. Don't think this will result in a red, but maybe on his last warning with the referee after that rash challenge on Adams. You can see this entry pass. Adams has position. Just gets tripped off of his back leg by Dawson. And he knows it, looking at the referee sort of apologetically. It's a great opportunity for Southampton to get this goal right back again. Ward-Prowse, a great striker of the ball, even from positions like this. Typically,
is a tough place to score for a lot of players. Not a ton of room when it's, just 18 to 20 yards out to get the ball over the wall and down again. But Ward-Prowse, one of those players with the ability to do so. He's got 3 players around him, Redmond, Bertrand, and Vestergaard. Vestergaard will now leave, but I don't expect anyone else to take this free kick. I would venture to say Ward-Prowse is the best striker of the ball of all 3 of them. And it looks like it will be pretty much Ward-Prowse here. Here he comes. It's a brilliant free kick from Ward-Prowse. That is absolutely fantastic from James Ward-Prowse as he absolutely strokes that ball into the top left corner and restores Southampton's 2-goal lead. And as I was saying, a great striker of the ball. That was a brilliant free kick. Ben Foster rooted to the spot. Let's take a look at this one. Hits it to the left. You see Ben Foster's on the... Oh, that's just gorgeous. That is gorgeous dip on that ball. My word, James Ward-Prowse. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that ball. Foster never has a chance. He's absolutely rooted to the spot. The dip on that is just perfect. You can see Foster positioning himself on the left side of the goal and on his left of the goal, the right side for the viewer here. And Ward-Prowse just picks out the left corner where Foster isn't, and just so much pace, so much dip on that ball. Never a chance. I don't think there's a goalkeeper out there, at least in that, if they're holding that positioning, that's saving that. That is absolutely brilliant from James Ward-Prowse. Fantastic goal, and that will again seal the points here for Southampton. They lead 3-1. We have seen some very good free kicks in the 2 games that we have called. I called Chelsea Man City. The other was calling Chelsea Man City last week, and Kevin De Bruyne having a free kick from a couple yards deeper hit a similarly dipping ball into the top corner for Man City's goal. And this is an equally brilliant, equally well-struck ball from James Ward-Prowse. I know I keep harping on it, but it is absolutely gorgeous what we have just seen. That is an absolutely brilliant goal. This ball in from Bertrand will evade the rest of his teammates and arrive in Foster's hands. But yes, treated some very nice free kick goals in my first 2 broadcasts here. So a ball from Holebas picked off in midfield by Armstrong. Armstrong will look up. We'll find Danny Ings on the right here. Back to Walker-Peters. 84 minutes on the clock now. 6 minutes remaining. I would expect 2 to 3 minutes of stoppage time for substitutions. McCarthy's clearance will evade Redmond here on the left. Seto throws in for Deeney, but it is won by Vestergaard, who has just been supreme today in the air, in defense, has been absolutely spectacular. And this ball comes out to Adams, whose shot is blocked by Dawson, but has been up. Vestergaard certainly has been up for every challenge that Watford has thrown him today. I'd say Bednarak is fairly equal to Vestergaard, if not for that very unfortunate moment in which he scored an own goal. Watford's only goal of the night. Just caught in bad positioning and flicked it past his helpless goalkeeper McCarthy. A little bit of frustration there, I believe, from Deeney as he takes out Ings on the touchline, and Southampton will be happy to milk the clock away as Ings slow to get up here. But no need for him to hurry whatsoever. Ward-Prowse will take this and set up for the set piece. We'll find Vestergaard. Vestergaard will easily hold off Welbeck. Find Bednarik. Walker-Peters tries to find Ings in the right-hand channel, but it's read by Holebas. Deeney is found. Should be fouled here if possession is not held, but no. Referee allows play to go on. Walker-Peters harried now by Capu, who will be called for the foul. Bednarik will look long left for Redmond. Will be won by Pacetto. Second ball won by Bertrand. Will find Redmond again. And here's Armstrong in behind the defense. Drives towards the baseline, but Cathcart is equal to it. Will knock it out for a corner. See Nigel Pearson, not much to say anymore. Looking on, knowing his team is probably doomed to this result here. Corner comes in, is knocked back out toward Prowse. He will play a little two-man game with Redmond here until it's sent back to Bertrand. All the way back now to Vestergaard. Sorry, Bednarik over here. Vestergaard up in the box. Will now retreat. Romeu out to Armstrong. We'll see a run from Redmond in behind. He is onside. His cross is deflected by Dawson. He's eventually crowded out of the ball and will result in a Watford goal kick. This will mean 1 point in 3 matches since the restart for Watford. Definitely not what they were looking for, to stay out of the relegation battle. And can actually see the sun out here in Watford briefly. After a very, very rainy, wet, rainy, cloudy evening, we get a little bit of sunlight right at the end here as Armstrong gets around Dawson and saved by Foster. Sorry, not Armstrong, Adams. I think Dawson running out of energy here. Adams fresh, about 20 minutes on the pitch. Can see here, just gets a good touch and just breezes right around Dawson at a tough angle, but uses his right foot instead of his left and tries to go 5-hole on Foster here. And Foster just able to get a piece of it with his back leg. And Adams and Ward-Prowse dismayed at the result as Hasenhuttl thinks he scored as the ball goes through, but just enough. Ben Foster gets just a piece of it. And oh, geez, another strike from Redmond. Hits off the outside of the post. Great curling effort there. Whipped in from the left side of the 18 by Redmond. Nobody really closing him down as Capu just lets him strike it. And Foster relieved to see that one hit his post and go wide. Again, great dip and whip on that strike from Redmond. And Southampton just looking to pile on the misery here for Watford as we approach the last minute of regulation. But yeah, 1 point in 3 for Watford. Not what they were hoping for after the restart. And I think Hasenhuttl and Southampton have to be thrilled with their start since the break. 2 wins and a loss, 6 points from 3. Will get them to that 40-point mark that so many managers in relegation battles are thrilled to see. Sort of the stereotypical mark of safety throughout the years here in English Premier League football. Obviously not always the case, but has been typically what the cutoff is to make sure that a team is safe. I see Danny Ings here with his brace today. Definitely been very clinical, very efficient, very lively when on the ball as we hit the end of regulation here. Stoppage time, probably 3 to 4 minutes again, considering substitutions and stoppages for goals. See what the number here is. It is 5. I was more accurate in the first half. 5 minutes of stoppage time here for Southampton to see out this match. Ward-Prowse looks inside. Back to Ward-Prowse. We'll find Redmond. Out to Bertrand, whose cross will be cut up by Dawson. throw into Redmond, harried by Saar. Back pass will escape Vestergaard, but not Bednarik, who will simply clear back up the line. Pusetto gets the ball for the throw-in. Cathcart, under some pressure, will hit long, picked off in midfield by Romeu, but the resulting ball comes to Doucouré, who will spray out here. Pedro will cut inside, his touch a little too long, but does take himself past Ward-Prowse. Will continue his run up the right channel. Here's Saar, finds Pedro again. Now Pusetto. Pusetto with a long cross towards the back post will just evade Deeney, will stay in play. Come back here to Holebas, who will cross towards the back post. Well won by Bertrand. Cleared away by Redmond. Collected again by Watford, but Danny Ings here back and should draw a foul here on Deeney. Nothing really in it, both of them going for the ball. Deeney just getting their second. Will help Ings off the floor here. So yeah, just coming through the back of Deeney, or sorry, of Ings. No foul given, it's a corner instead. So here is Holebas from the left side. Outswinging corner. Will look deep. Be well won by Ward-Prowse, who heads out towards Redmond. Looking to get around Capoue here, but Capoue will keep it. Nope, we'll just go out of play here. Foster will knock it back for the Southampton throw here. Gustavo Codfor saying Ings on fire this season, and indeed he is right. Ings on fire, second most goals in the league this season with 18 now, so certainly has been on fire, continues to be on fire after the break. Very nice to see that again. A couple seasons ago, had terrible injury while at Liverpool. It's nice to see him as a prolific goal scorer once again, as he was earlier in his career, and has definitely won Southampton a lot of points this season and put them in a position to finish at a very solid spot in the table for them. Here's Watford with last roll of the dice here, starting to run out of time. 4 minutes gone in 5 minutes of stoppage time. Pusetto throws into Welbeck. Be challenged here by Armstrong. We'll knock it out for another throw. Capoue. Cut inside. And well done by Adams, chasing him down from behind. Will continue his dribble. Will be fouled here. Play will be allowed to continue until Ings is fouled by Holebas. We will get a yellow card to Doucouré to add insult to injury at the end of this match. Certainly a foul here. Yep. Absolutely a yellow, and then another foul here by Holebas. Probably not as bad as Doucouré's, but could potentially also have been a yellow card foul in a different match at a different time. Southampton will see out the final 10 seconds of this match with some possession. Armstrong driving forward. We'll simply lose possession here. We'll draw a foul on Cathcart. Referee will likely blow the final whistle here. Maybe he'll let them take the free kick. We'll let them take the free kick. So maybe another chance for James Ward-Prowse to get a brace here. You can see him on the ball. Definitely a tougher angle than the one he scored. Better distance, but will give him a chance to bury a fourth here. He will be aiming probably for that same top left corner. Here is Ward-Prowse. Not quite the same technique as the last one, but that will be the last kick of the game. Southampton and Ralph Hasenhuttl come out here 3-1 victors. Goals scored by Danny Ings, the first two, followed by an own goal by Jan Bednarak in the 79th minute, and rounded out by an absolutely brilliant James Ward-Prowse free kick in the 82nd minute. Southampton will win this one 3-1, push themselves on to 40 points, sitting 13th in the table. Watford will slump to a second defeat in 2. They remain in 16th with 28 points. There's Danny Ings again. Absolutely brilliant match today. Certainly the man of the match. Lively on everything he did. Clinical, on fire with the goal scoring, and certainly carrying Southampton to a victory. Joined with him, but with some pretty immense performances from Yannick Vestergaard up against Troy Deeney, and also James Ward-Prowse in midfield. Very active, very robust, very composed, and rounding it out with a brilliant goal from a set piece. That'll do it for us here today. Appreciate anyone who has tuned in to hear this cast of Watford versus Southampton. I will be looking to get a schedule set here pretty soon. I haven't quite decided how often I want to stream Premier League matches. I do enjoy just watching them with my friends as well, but I am trying to get a good amount of them out. Eventually I'll start to do some Bundesliga games and potentially some MLS playoffs as well. But let me know, in the chat, on my Twitter, anywhere, what you'd be interested in seeing. I'm happy to do games that the fans are interested in hearing. If you enjoy my commentary, please leave a like, subscribe, follow, and thank you again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the match. We'll just go briefly here through the player ratings and sign off before we sign off here. So looks like FootMob has given Danny Ings a 9-2 in man of the match, and I cannot disagree. I think he was absolutely brilliant today. Incredibly clinical, very good job holding the ball up, good movement, good play in general. Looked super lively when he was on the ball, patient when he wasn't on it. Shane Long gets a 6-3 here. I think it's a bit harsh on him. I think he was actually pretty good today. Tend to get overshadowed when your partner is being so clinical and playing so well, but I thought Shane Long was quite good. I thought his pressure was excellent. I thought his movement and his counter movement to Ings was solid. I think he should be a little higher. Redmond at 7-8, I think that's fine. Was pretty industrious down the left, provided a lot of movement inside along with those front two. Romeo was solid as a holding midfielder, also good in possession today. I think 7.0 is probably about right. Maybe a little high at 7.5. Ward-Prowse with the 8.3. I think that's super fair. The goal was brilliant. He was definitely the most active and most industrious of his three midfielders. Prompting, prodding, looking for balls in behind, always popping up to keep possession. I think you could even rate him a little higher. I think he was probably the second best, if not third, next to Yannick Vestergaard in the match. Smallbone with a 6.8. I think that's probably about fair. I think his replacement Armstrong actually came on and did very well. We'll see here if they rate the substitutions. Not quite ratings on the substitutions. We can't see who they are. I think Armstrong was very good after coming on. Very industrious. Won a lot of balls back. Was playing some good balls in behind. Bertrand, excellent on the left. Dealt very well with all the long balls played. I thought Yannick Vestergaard was one of the best three players in the match. Was immense in defense. Didn't look like he was in trouble at any point in the match. Seemed very in control. Very good decision making. Very strong. I thought Bednarak was actually really good. Just obviously had one moment of not madness, but was just kind of caught out of position and tried to fling his foot at the ball. Results in an own goal, and yeah, unfortunately, an own goal will get you knocked pretty hard. So I'm going to say that the 6 is fair, despite him playing a pretty excellent 89 minutes and having one bad minute. Own goals hit pretty hard. Kyle Walker-Peters at 7.2. I don't think he should be higher than Bertrand. I think he's more like a 6.5. He's good in possession, but really didn't offer a lot going forward. I think he's just solid defensively. I think Bertrand had more to deal with during the match. Dealt with it better. Was probably had a better partnership going on with Redmond down the left. So I think that's a bit high for Walker-Peters. McCarthy at 6.0. You could give him a 6. You could give him a 7. He had no chance on the goal. His own defender put it past him. Didn't really have anything to do outside of that. So, he's fine. His kicks are fine. He was basically a bystander for most of the match. And on the Watford side, Deeney at a 4.6. Yeah, I think a 5, 5.5. I think 4-6 is a little harsh on him. It was definitely starved of support for most of the match. They were just asking him to win aerial duels against Vestergaard and Bednarak, which is asking a lot, even of someone who is as good in the air as Dini, and really didn't have a lot of help from Doucouré, who was definitely overworked in midfield against Ward-Prowse and Romeo today. Hughes, I think in particular, did not offer much. Was not really in the right spots, particularly in the first half. Capu is a little more industrious, but pretty pedestrian performances from those two. And so I think Doucouré either took it on himself or was asked to do a little too much, and hence was not really in a supportive position for Dini most of the time, who probably did get out-dueled by Vestergaard, but still, was asked to do so really alone. Pereira with a 5.8 on the left. I think that's about fine. I don't think he did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything great. I think Sarr with a 5.5 is about right for me. Was a little bit wasteful in possession of the few chances that did come his way. Capu at a 6 I think is fine. I think Will Hughes at a 6 is too high. I think he didn't really do much and was sort of the weak link in midfield, which really hurt them considering they're supposed to have midfield advantage in a 4-3-2-1. Obviously, Redmond and Smallbone in particular were sort of working to add an extra man to midfield when they were not in possession and playing wide when they were. But still, you would expect a little more control there, and I think Hughes was sort of the weak link. Kiko was very average. I would say 5.0 is probably about right. Very wasteful in possession. Some of it his fault, some of it not his fault, but not a great showing on the right there. Cathcart was okay. I think 6.0 is probably fair. I think Dawson was poor. Gets a yellow card, out of position a lot, beaten on the dribble a lot, deflected for the second goal, for the second goal, commits the foul for the third goal. I think you could even rate him lower. I think you could give him a 4, probably. I think he was pretty bad today. And Messina, 5, 5.5. Nothing really doing for either of the outside backs. I think he's slightly better than Kiko, but also wasteful. A lot of long passes into nothing. And I think Foster gets a 4 or a 3. Not in great position for the first goal from Ings, for sure. Didn't even dive at it. Obviously at fault for the second one. Terrible throw out. Had made a terrible throw out like 2 minutes before that. That was picked off by Armstrong. So beaten all ends up for the Ward-Prowse free kick, which I think is brilliant. And I don't think he had really a chance at it. But I think he made it impossible for himself to save it by where he was positioned. Positioned himself behind his wall, which is a weird one. I know it's a very close free kick, but you would think that you'd want to go a little more central as a goalkeeper there, or at least cheat towards the side your wall is not on and force Ward-Prowse to kick it to his right over the wall. Instead, he's left the left side of the goal open for Ward-Prowse and was buried there, didn't even dive at it. So do I think he would have saved it either way? No. Ward-Prowse's kick wasn't perfectly in the upper 90. I don't think he saves it anyway, but I don't think his positioning helped. So I think a really bad performance from Ben Foster. I think probably a 3, if I'm being honest. But I think football was fairly accurate with most of these. There's always going to be disagreements about players here and there, but I think in general it seems pretty spot on from what I saw, and a well-played match by Southampton. A good setup by Hasenhuttl. Good tactics, good energy. They look pretty good since the break. I'll see if they can keep it up. But I think that'll do it for today. Again, thanks for joining me. This has been DeeJay, and I will see you on the next stream. I will try to put it on the schedule and let you know ahead of time what I am doing as I get more comfortable with this. But thanks again, and have a good day.